on February 1st, 2003. Why would we remember this important date in history? February 1st, 2003 was a tragic day in history for the United States space program. This was the day that the Space Shuttle Columbia broke apart over Texas and Louisiana after returning from their 16-day mission from space. Unfortunately, during this tragedy, all 7 of the astronauts on board died. NASA suspended space shuttles for more than 2 years as it investigated the disaster. Upon investigation, it was determined that the cause of the accident was a piece of foam that had fallen off the shuttle's external fuel tank during launch. Today I want to share with you some events that went on in 2003, the year that I was born. I will be sharing with you some information about politics that went on in the year, the cost of some common items, as well as highlights that happened in the sports world. I will be saving sports for last because I know that is all your favorite. Let's begin with reviewing what was happening in politics in the U.S. during 2003. In 2003, George W. Bush was President of the United States. April was a big month of events that happened during George W.'s presidency. April of 2003 was when the Human Genome Project was completed. This project started in 1990. This project was led by the National Institutes of Health, in which the studies were done to improve and understand how to predict and cure certain diseases in people. The purpose of the study was to help understand the genetic link within families with certain diseases. This project was significant because it brought together scientists as well as other professionals to build teamwork and collaboration in working on this study. April 9, 2003 began the war known to many as Operation Iraqi Freedom. This was under the oversight of President George W. Bush. There were 2 phases of this war. During this time, troops from the United States and Great Britain joined forces to invade Iraq and defeat Iraqi military forces. During this term of George W. Bush's presidency, the Senate was controlled by the Republicans. Many times, when the Senate is controlled by the same political party as the president is affiliated with, this is an opportunity for the party to achieve their agenda. 2003 was an election year. The parties running for presidency were George W. Bush representing the Republicans and versus John Kerry representing Democrats. The results of the election were that George W. Bush was re-elected for his 2nd term as president. With all of these events happening, it is interesting to see how the prices of various items were at that time. Costs of some common items. The average house in the U.S. sold for $246,000. The price of a gallon of gas was $1.83. The average median salary for people in the workforce in 2003 was $45,000 per year. The price of a gallon of milk was $1.56. It is amazing how much lower things were then compared to today. Next, let's review the championship winners in the world of sports. In the National Football League, the Super Bowl was played in San Diego, California, between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders. Tampa Bay won the game 48-21. During the National Basketball Association Championship of the San Antonio Spurs and the New Jersey Nets, the Spurs won 3-1 in the final series. Finally, in the Major League Baseball World Series, it was the Seattle Marlins versus the New York Yankees. The Seattle Marlins won the series 4-2. This was the first series that the Marlins had won in the history of their team. As you've heard today, the year of 2003 had many significant events as well as some very interesting facts. It was an era of new technology and advancements that would continue to influence the future of the United States. Thankfully, NASA was able to learn from the tragedy of Columbia and has been able to start moving forward with their program. It's crazy to think that this all happened in the year that I was born.